Space is a cold and vast grave, where invisible assassins always lurk silently in the deep darkness. A massive rock named Izanagi is hurtling at 60,000 kilometers per hour towards our fragile Earth. It makes absolutely no sound, yet it carries destructive energy equivalent to thousands of atomic bombs. Beneath the atmosphere, Tokyo wakes up to a sunny and peaceful autumn morning in the year 2025. People rush to work, and bullet trains run on time, unaware that death is approaching fast. Suddenly, the sky is torn apart by a blinding streak of light, 100 times brighter than the sun. Pedestrians stop and look up, their faces shifting from surprise to absolute and sheer terror. The impact strikes offshore in the Pacific, causing the ocean surface to cave into a massive bottomless pit. A column of water and molten rock shoots straight into space, piercing clouds like a giant mushroom. The supersonic shockwave hits the mainland, blowing out all the glass windows of skyscrapers in Yokohama. The Tokyo Tower, Japan's proud symbol, snaps in half like a matchstick against the Category 30 winds. Millions of cars on the Shudo Expressway are tossed into the air like cheap plastic toys. But that is not all. As from the horizon, a pitch-black wall of water begins to stand vertically. It stands 500 meters high, swallowing all light and hope, rushing inland at jet speed. The entire city plunges into darkness as this giant water monster crashes down, crushing everything instantly. Tiny humans flee in desperation, but there is nowhere left to hide in this hell on Earth. This is not a science fiction movie. It is a simulation scenario of the end of the Land of the Rising Sun Day. The year 2025 was predicted to be a year of disasters, but no one expected this guest. There is no escape, no miracle, only collision and the most brutal destruction in human history. Welcome to the scenario: Japan Tsunami 2025, asteroid impact in the Pacific Ocean. Let us turn back time to exactly 15 minutes before the ultimate disaster strikes. In the bustling Ginza district, thousands are enjoying the cool and crisp autumn air. However, at Ueno Park, wild animals begin to exhibit strange and erratic behaviors. The eastern sky suddenly turns a deep purple, a rare and ominous optical phenomenon. Along the Kamakura coast, the ocean water mysteriously recedes kilometers away from the shore. A second point of light appears in the sky, growing larger at breakneck speed. The J-alert warning system remains silent, but human instinct senses the impending danger. And then, the fateful moment arrives as the asteroid Izanagi touches the ocean surface. The impact creates no immediate sound, but instantly vaporizes billions of tons of seawater. A deadly circle of energy begins to spread, signaling the end of peace forever. The shockwave from the impact travels faster than sound, slamming into the mainland like a slap from God. In Yokohama, tens of thousands of skyscraper windows explode simultaneously in a fraction of a millisecond. A rain of glass falls onto the streets like razor-sharp knives, shredding everything below. The famous Rainbow Bridge shakes violently, its suspension cables stretching to the limit before snapping. Trucks moving on the bridge are tossed into Tokyo Bay like mere pebbles. The sound of destruction arrives later than the visual, as an ear-splitting boom echoes across the Kanto region. A 500-meter wall of water, pitch black and dense, is swallowing the sunlight. It does not look like a normal wave. It resembles a moving mountain rushing at jet speed. Massive oil tankers are swept up to the crest of the wave, looking as tiny as paper boats. The water collides with the coastline with the compression force of a massive hydraulic explosion. Haneda Airport, located right at the gateway to Tokyo, is the first victim to be wiped out. Commercial airplanes parked on the runway are swept away, crashing into each other and exploding. The Keihin Industrial Zone burns fiercely as gas storage tanks are crumpled. Fire and water, two opposite extremes, now join forces to devastate the city. The Odaiba district, the pride of futuristic architecture, is submerged in an instant. The Tokyo Skytree stands tall in the sky, but its foundation is being eroded. A terrifying cracking sound resonates, and the massive steel structure begins to tilt. Japan's tallest icon collapses, bringing down the collapse of hope. At Shibuya Crossing, giant advertising screens still glow before being swallowed by water. Millions of tons of water infiltrate the subway system, turning them into deadly sewer pipes. Trains running underground are crushed like tin cans by the high-pressure water flow. Above ground, old apartment buildings cannot withstand the water pressure and start collapsing like dominoes. The current sweeps away everything: cars, buses, signs, and even wooden houses. Those lucky enough to climb high-rise buildings can only stand and watch their city disappear. A fire truck with its alarm lights on floats aimlessly in the torrential current. Fragments of civilization collide with each other, creating a symphony of death. The mini Statue of Liberty in Odaiba sinks, leaving only the torch sticking out of the water. In Shinjuku District, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building is besieged by a sea of water. Water not only destroys, but it also carries toxic waste and gasoline spreading everywhere. A large cargo ship is washed into the city center by waves, wedged between two buildings. The colorful neon signs of Kabucho short circuit, exploding one by one. Helicopter rescue efforts become hopeless in the face of the disaster's scale. Strong gusts make the helicopter wobble, forcing it to turn back and leave those pleading for help. The National Stadium, once hosting the Olympics, now turns into a giant swimming pool filled with mud. No longer Tokyo, this is the Atlantis of the 21st century, a dead city sunk at the bottom of the ocean. The rapid current creates massive whirlpools, sucking everything underground. Pedestrian overpasses are bent and twisted like steel ribbons. Ancient temples, hundreds of years old, are wiped out, washing away history along with the present. The water rises to the 5th, 10th, and then the 15th floor of the buildings. Those on the lower floors have no chance left. They are trapped in their own homes. The world's most high-tech city is completely helpless against the primal power of nature. Transformer stations explode, creating ghostly blue fireballs on the water surface. All escape routes are cut off. Tokyo becomes an isolated island. Panic spreads as the communication network collapses completely. The disaster siren sounds faintly and then dies out under the water. In 1 hour, the world's third largest economy is completely paralyzed. Regardless of rich or poor, old or young, all are equal before the disaster. Glass skyscrapers now become giant tombstones reflecting the gray sky. The water flow begins to slow down, but the destruction is already complete. A terrifying silence covers the city, leaving only the sound of wind whistling through broken window frames. The sun begins to set, casting the last weak rays of light on a dead Tokyo. This is the price paid for the fragility of civilization in the face of the vast universe. Darkness falls, and a long, cold night begins. 1 hour after impact, the water level stabilizes, turning Tokyo into a massive, deadly swamp. But this silence is merely the beginning of a secondary chain of disasters even more devastating. The national power grid cannot withstand the shock and begins to collapse, region by region. Pitch black darkness envelops the survivors, stealing away the very last shred of their hope. Major hospitals lose main power. Backup generators located deep in basements are already flooded. Thousands of patients sustained by machines now face a predetermined and inevitable death. In the darkness, another danger begins to erupt. Fire spreading uncontrollably across the water surface. Leaking oil tanks create rivers of fire that weave through the high-rise buildings. Thick black smoke rolls into the sky, blocking the moon, making the air suffocating. At the coastal nuclear power plant, the cooling system is completely paralyzed due to flooding. The temperature inside the reactor spikes, and the risk of a core meltdown approaches every second. This is the worst-case scenario. A second Fukushima double disaster right in the midst of the deluge. Trapped on rooftops, people are cold, hungry, and terrified of the invisible radiation. Night temperatures drop deeply. The bone-chilling cold begins to claim the lives of the weak. With no clean water, they are forced to look down at the polluted floodwater in desperate thirst. The Tokyo underground transport system is now a mass grave for tens of thousands who could not escape. The world's most modern tunnels have turned into giant water traps with absolutely no way out. Above ground, chaos erupts as survival instincts begin to override humanity. The few remaining supermarkets and convenience stores are looted completely within minutes. Money, jewelry, and stocks have now become worthless scraps of paper. The only value remaining now is a bottle of clean water and a dry place to stand. Data centers in Tokyo are flooded, causing severe disruptions to the global internet. Global financial markets crash as news of Tokyo's destruction is confirmed. Japan, the world's third largest economy, is wiped off the economic map in just one night. Communication attempts from the outside fall into silence. Tokyo is completely isolated. Military helicopters try to approach, but are blocked by atmospheric storms caused by the impact. Survivors realize that tonight, they can only rely on themselves. They start burning fires from debris and furniture for warmth and to signal for help. Tiny specks of fire amidst the ocean of black water are proof of humanity's intense vitality. But nature has not yet let go as earthquake aftershocks begin to shake the city. The geological structure beneath Japan has been severely damaged after the asteroid impact. Buildings already flooded now have to withstand the pressure from continuous tremors. Some areas of land undergo liquefaction, swallowing even the most solid buildings. Yokohama port catches fire, turning the bay into a sea of flames lighting up the sky. Explosions of chemical containers sound like cannons, shooting streaks of toxic colors. The Tokyo Fire Department, the silent heroes, are completely helpless with no access routes. They can only stand and watch the city they swore to protect being burned to ashes. As the night deepens, the scene becomes increasingly ghostly and desperate. Cries for help fade away, replaced by the deadly silence of acceptance. People begin to succumb to exhaustion. Many collapse into eternal sleep due to the cold. Those still awake hold hands tightly, praying for a dawn they are not sure will come. Somewhere in the rubble, a battery-powered radio picks up a crackling signal from the government. Be patient, aid is coming, do not give up. But that promise seems too far away for those facing the Grim Reaper right now. The sea level has not yet receded. Tokyo has become a part of the Pacific Ocean. Cultural, historical, and technological heritage is wiped clean, leaving only mud and water. This is the collapse of an era, the end of the modern dream. But in the ashes, the human will to live still smolders, waiting for a chance to flare up. And as the night passes, a dark dawn will reveal the full and brutal truth. We will witness that scene together in the conclusion of this story. The dawn of the next day brings no light of hope, but a sickly, blood-red hue of ash and dust. The water has begun to recede, leaving behind a meter-thick layer of black mud covering the ruins of civilization. The once thriving city of Tokyo is now as silent as a gigantic concrete graveyard. Survivors emerge from their shelters, staring in shock at the alien world before their eyes. No homes left, no possessions left. They have only their lives and the pain of loss remaining. Far offshore, the rescue ships of the Maritime Self-Defense Force finally appear on the horizon. Japan will take decades to heal this wound, or perhaps this scar will never truly fade away. The universe is neither kind nor cruel. It simply exists, and we live by the luck of probability. Cherish every moment of peace, for tomorrow is something no one can ever promise.